Okay, I thought I'd see if I could do a quick little beach scene to show y'all how I paint them. And we'll lay in some sky and then use the full strength blue and hope that I can see this well enough to paint a straight line of some sort. And we will put the blue on there for the water. And I want to try just a little bit of a pink. And that brush might be a little too big. Let's use something a tad smaller and see if I can get a little dab of pink just where the sky and the water meet. And then we'll bring it up a little bit into the sky. Okay, and then we'll go back with a little bit of the sky color again and kind of do just a quick little hit and miss of color on there. And that'll give us a little more of almost a sunset feel, but I'm not going to do the sun in the sky because I have to wait until everything dries before I can add it and then go back and do its thing. So we will see if we can bring in some little shoreline area here. And I do this just using kind of an assortment of colors to begin with till I get a look that I just seem to like. Okay, that will work for that. Now, we'll take another, and these brushes I use are just very old, scruffy brushes, because unless I'm doing detail work, most of this kind of stuff, that's all they require, in a way. It's kind of something old and scruffy-like. So I'm not using my artist brushes to make a mess with them. And here I'm just pulling up and at a little bit of an angle some foliage, or I like to refer to it as my faux seagrass stuff that you see growing on the dunes or at the edge of the shorelines, depending on the beaches you go to and where you're at. And I do this using various colors, just kind of dabbed and blobbed on the brush so that it helps create the variety of the colors and the look. Now, let's see if some of that is dry. We can try to put in a little bit of the, what I call my foam on the waves look. And I just do that almost with like a little dabbing motion with very little white paint so that it doesn't overpower what I've already got there. And you can always blot your brush if you end up with a little too much paint on it, and then just keep working the colors that you have. Okay, that will create I call it my faux Waves effect. And let's see if this sky is dry enough that we can add the, we'll add the clouds. And I like to, when I don't do a beach scene with a sun or a setting sun in it, I like to do clouds that I kind of refer to as the rolling billows of clouds that you kind of see sometimes when you look out across the ocean view, and you just see all those little puffy white things. And so that's my version of them anyway. So now I'm going to take a little smaller scruffy brush, and I'm going to load half green on the brush and half white, and then I kind of dab it to blend it a little bit. And I'm going to use this to add what I kind of call my little toppers, or maybe some kind of little blooming stuff to the tops of the little seagrassy things there. And I'll do that on both sides. If I have to add more paint, I go back and just reload the same colors, but usually I can do both sides with the one load of paint on it. So that lays in those. Now, let's take, this is just an old round brush, but I'm going to use it and some burnt umber paint. And the burnt umber that I'm trying to use up from an old bottle is so thick, so I have to thin it a little bit to get any real use out of it. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to lay in my little beach fence posts. And I don't do them straight up and down. I like to kind of go with a little bit of an angle, as if they had been like bent over from the wind blowing or something like that. And then I'll put my little cross pieces in. And then, without really cleaning the brush, I like to pick up a little bit of white and I mix it with just a little bit of the brown that's on the brush. I kind of go down one side of each post, and it creates its own little highlight. And then I carefully go across the top of each little slat piece that goes across. And that, except for my little bitty tiny black caps on the fence post, kind of lays in the fence. And it's pretty much ready to be left alone now. Okay, and then now let's use this brush to do that. I need to lighten this area just a little bit for my faux sandy kind of look. And then it just gives another little element of color. And it's just a little bit of brown, and I think it had a touch of green in it, and some white. But it gives just enough color on there that it breaks everything up and gives you a different definition of color. Now I'm going to go into white and red. Same way that I did the green and white on the brush a while ago. And we're just going to lay in some little flowers. And I don't really call them anything in particular in this manner. I just want the color there. And then you'll notice it helps enhance your skyline there. And it helps bring the front of the painting a little more forward. So I'm going to do purple and white on this side, and we're just going to do the same thing, and we're just going to cover up the bottoms of those fence posts, and then if you'll notice, by doing that, it actually pushes the fence posts backwards, or pushes them back and lets you have a little foreground. Then we'll go back into the red and the white, and I'm going to add a little bit of those flowers right along the front edge of the purple ones, and let it kind of trail along there, because red in your painting, the eye will follow, and so the viewer gets the whole visual perspective by the eye moving wherever the red is at. Okay, let's see, I want a little bit of yellow in this one, so I'm going to take a yellow color, and by putting just a touch of white in with it, it will give it a little more opacity, or make it a little darker and more opaque. And then I can have another definition of color, just to be some more little filler. And on this side, we'll just do a little hit and miss, as if maybe whatever this yellow stuff is, it's just kind of growing just in a few little spots. Okay, and now I will take the green again, and I'm going to lighten it just a little bit with some yellow mixed with it, and then just kind of dab it right along that bottom to almost be like a little baseline of grasses maybe that was growing right at the edge of the shore. And then just bring it up into that, and it'll all kind of blend together. Then right here where the little path is, I'm going to turn the piece and let those grasses pull up just a little bit. And that dark that I added there will actually help push the water back even a little bit more. And I want to bring in just a little more depth of color right there to kind of help push that water back even a little bit more. And I know it doesn't look like much seeing it probably on the video, but I can see it, and so I know it's there, so I have to do that. And basically that's about it. I think I will add just a little bit of white spattering along the top. I just like to do this especially in the sky and at the edge of the water. I'm not going to worry about doing it across the bottom part of the painting, but that's pretty much a simple little beach scene.